oven.
I can't reheat it while you're doing your live.
Hey guys, how are you? Okay, good. I've got the right camera on. I'm sorry I'm late. I had to figure out the webcam situation, and Jeremiah is the technical one. You can preheat the oven at 350. You can heat it up. Okay, sorry, Mom and hey April. I'm gonna put my laptop on this book. It's wiggling. That's better. How's everybody doing? Jaden Shaw, I'm so glad that you did. Glad to have you. Hey, Jesse Small, Homestead, Nicole, Dad's Equipment Training. Hey, Constance. Yay, Megan. Hey, Andrew. So, yeah, I'm a little bit late. Sweet Maya is on our roof. Let me see if I can do this. I think closing these. Oh yeah, that's better. Oh, Chris, I miss you. I get to see you here soon. Hey, Lone Star Living. So Sweet Maya is on the roof right now, trying to finish that project. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. And it's just me here tonight. He may come in at some point because it's like halfway to dark. I am really ready for HOA. Yes, Rebecca, I'm glad to be back in the garden. I've been spending a good bit of time out there. Hey, Joseph. Ben Turn is on the roof. Little Ben is not on the roof. Little Ben is in my bed watching a movie, laying in my spot because he loves me. That's what he just told me. He said, I'm going to go lay in your spot in the bed because I love you so much. I said, okay. He's so extra. Jesse Small Homestead. Yeah, the cucamelons were interesting to save seeds from. So small, you really got to squish them out, and they really do go everywhere. Nanda. I didn't see Nanda comment, but I saw somebody say hi to her. So, hey, Nanda. Wow, Christy Crump. That's a lot of canning. It's exciting. Oh, there's Monetera. Oh, yes, Mark, it took me a second because I had to figure out how to plug in the webcam thing. Guys, I am not technical at all. It's so funny that I do a YouTube channel as my job because seriously, like I've always been really good with cameras, so that's something. The whole editing thing, like there's a reason why I've never gotten out of iMovie because I have such a hard time with computers and like anything technical. And so I couldn't get the thing to work. That's why I'm late. And Sweet Maya's outside. He's the one who fixes the things. Conway, South Carolina. That's cool, Leo. I live really near Conway, Arkansas. So Xavier. Well, I feel better. At least I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm creative. Like I have my perks, but handling any sort of like technology is not it at all. The pig babies are good. Now, we did lose the one that everybody saw him struggling. I don't know what happened to him, but he didn't make it. And it was one of those situations. I mean, it wasn't a long drawn out thing, but I don't know if he got stepped on or what, but we did lose the one, which was really hard. The other 6 are doing fantastic. She's a good mom. We're really relieved because you just never know when an animal's having babies for the first time. A lot of people told me that sometimes with pig babies that their backs can get broken in the birth canal, especially if they're big or the first one out on a first farrowing. And that was a boy, and it was the biggest one that was damaged. And so I'm wondering if that might have been what happened, which I would be very, I would be almost, that's kind of a relief to me that that's what it was rather than her like stepping on him and stuff. She seems to be very cautious. Hey, Stivers. Thank you very much for those of you who were encouraging. I see, Trace Maple Hill. I appreciate the encouragement. That is one of the really hard things about raising kids on the farm is you're just going to have to go through those disappointments. But, my goal with my children and raising, especially like when you get into raising your own meat, I really just want to teach them to take responsibility for their appetites and also honor life in every stage of it. And you know, like we have this conversation with the kids. You know, Toby, when the piglets were born, he literally was like, I'm not gonna eat these. And I was like, oh really? You're gonna stop eating pork? And he's like, well, and we have this conversation. Well, can I still eat it from the store? And I'm like, no, because that was a baby pig once too. And I always tell my kids, I'll fully support if you want to be vegetarian or even vegan. Like I will fully support you in that. I'm a great vegan and vegetarian cook because I've spent large portions of my life as a vegetarian and vegan. And so like, I can do that. But we're just going to take responsibility for what we eat. And it's hard, but I think it's very worthy. Chris, Elin has her first loose tooth. Oh my gosh, she's so precious. I just adore her. That is. Allie, send me a email. If you're in North Little Rock, send me an email. Thank you, Anne. So I'm drinking some coffee. Gary, I really admire the Rhodes and how they handle that. I feel like they teach their kids well as far as like just taking responsibility for stuff like that. And they really practice what they preach as far as like really eating food that they grow and, like ethically sourcing things and stuff like that. And I just think it's really important. I think it's something that's really lost, unfortunately, in our society. One of my very sweet viewers who I got to meet in California, and we spoke on legacy, and he's really into genealogy and ancestry. And so he actually sent me a gift membership to ancestry.com. The reason why I missed a day on a video this week, it was because I literally spent the entire day on ancestry.com tracking mine and Jeremiah's lineage. And it is rocking me. Like, it is seriously just messing me up to realize how, because I'm finding these people and then I'm digging in, and there's so much information available on the internet. It's so, so fascinating. Oh, sweet Maya. He did make it. Here he comes. This man has got some sun. He has been working really hard the last 2 days. So, anyway, Ancestry, it's really messing with me.
Did you tell him about my stuff?
No, I haven't. How, we are not far removed from the generation where everybody grew their own food. It's crazy. And I know that, but man, we just lose touch of stuff so fast in our society. And it's just, this generation doesn't understand what was normal 80 years ago. It's just so many people don't. And it's crazy to me how, biblically 40 years is what I guess was the biblical marker of a generation. 40 years can literally change everything, and people can become completely out of touch with 40 years ago. And I don't know how all of that, basically I was talking about ancestry. I've just been reading the historical stories of our forefathers essentially pioneering in Virginia and different things just a few generations ago. It's very fascinating. Mondays with Maya. I think you're going to be shooting a video early in the morning, are you not? Because you did not shoot a Mondays with Maya this weekend, and I did not shoot a video for tomorrow. So
yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll have to give
Sorry,
the people
guys.
what they want.
We started the roofing project, and as most projects go, and nothing went according to plan.
I want to answer this real quick, and then I want to talk about that. Tangi, exactly. Tangi said, when I did my research, I felt like my ancestors were not all that far away in time. It's like I grew closer to them. It's a really wild thing to start reading about your ancestors and realizing, just a few generations ago is not that long. And I didn't even know their names for the most part. I knew my great-great-grandfather's name because I read an article about him once, but most of them, I didn't even know their names. That's crazy to me. And they lived like that. Is Maya's grandfather Luke Skywalker? No, but 16 generations back, Jeremiah's ancestors it was like King Edward the Fourth. Yeah, it was like his 16 times great grandfather was King Edward the Fourth.
Up to my dad's line.
Through the Sowards line. Yeah. Like, which is pretty crazy.
And then before that, there were some other like French royalty. And then one of forward in the generation, she became the Queen of France. It was interesting. Like, I was like, this seems a little, and then Jessica started like really researching it and was like,
I mean, I literally spent like 16 hours one day. That's all I did. That's why there was no video the other day, because I was like, I couldn't stop. I was so fascinated.
So King Edward IV is the father of Henry VIII.
Yeah, but that went down because they had like a billion kids.
So King Edward was in my bloodline, but his kid,
he came from the line from a daughter.
So same grandfather, but I'm not from King Henry's line.
Yeah,
a different
like
line.
he also had King Henry VIII, but then he had anyway. So
I love history, so it was really cool. Honestly, a couple of the more interesting things, I thought that was cool, but I mean, that to me is like, okay, cool. But what was super interesting was that from that line came a family name that went through four generations of people. They like a repeat name, Robert Criswell, and
which started as
Crosswell, but it was all Robert. And the first Robert Crosswell was on John Smith's expedition to Virginia. So like John Smith, Pocahontas John Smith, like he was a commander on that expedition, which was cool.
I didn't have anything that cool in mind. Like I had some kind of interesting stuff, but there was nothing like that big. Now I started doing Daniels.
Then we found another one down that line, a Tootle, who fought in the Revolutionary War and survived and was later buried in Ohio after he settled there.
And so a lot of his family's from Ohio, which is kind of interesting because we just went to Ohio for the first time. So apparently I have a ton of Scottish heritage. Wow. Leah Lovelace said, my great grandma had a ticket for the Titanic, but got the flu and didn't go. We have the ticket. That is crazy. That's so interesting. I started to do Daniels because he was talking about how that's something he's always wanted to do. And so I asked him for some information and his like 3 times great grandfather. This is really cool because, like he's a minister that really does a lot of music, writes a lot of music and all of that and sings. His 3 times great grandfather was like a very, very well-known minister in Wales. Oh man.
No, I need to get a better case.
This is just stinks. The back of his phone broke.
The glass. It dropped and I thought it's probably fine because it's dropped like that 2 times before. And then,
sorry, we got distracted. We're on live. We're talking to all these people.
It's broke.
Hey, Nose, what are you doing?
Big sad.
Y'all want to see Noah? Come here, Noah. Jeremiah's little brother is in town. Oh, little baby Noah, look at him. Come down here and say hi. Isn't he so cute?
Yeah, I'm just so cute. Thanks for that.
Oh my gosh, Stivers. Wonderworks is such a cool place. Yeah, I can't imagine. I was actually reading about the Titanic like a week or so ago.
Go out the front door. They're on that.
So yeah, with Daniel, the minister, in his heritage was like his name was John Jones of Talisarn, and he was like in a Methodist Calvinist Methodist minister who was also he wrote songs, and I'm just like, how crazy is that? That 3 generations, and I mean, no connection. Like Daniel had no idea.
Hey, what's up, Ethan?
Hey, Ethan. Or Sarah, or both.
I think you missed the genealogy stuff. I'll talk to you about it later. I'll tell you. You'll think it's cool because you like interesting stuff like that.
Lori, actually, one of the goat cart babies, there were twin boys that were born, and one of them actually ended up getting sick and dying while we were out of town. This is like a year ago that happened. And so we ended up getting rid of the other boy. Because we didn't need him. He was related to everybody. And so we had another set of twins born this year, and we thought about hanging on to them for that, but we have so much going on, we decided to kind of shelf that until a later time. Yeah, Vicky, Noah looks a lot like Ben, but he really looks a lot like Toby. Toby looks so much like Noah when he was little. Tigger Acres, the way Ancestry.com works is... like, basically, you get to tap into all these other people's research. And so they fill in a lot of stuff. They give you a lot of hints, and you just review these different like documents and see if that has enough details that line up with what you already know to fill in the blanks. And then sometimes what you can do is you can go do a search of a person's name. And especially if they had anything notable, like that guy with Daniel's history, being that it was only the 1800s, so it wasn't that long ago. There's actually books written about him and like different things like that. And you can double check. And there's actually photos of that guy and his wife and like different things like that. You can get that information. Now, when you go way back, you're at the mercy. You can't ever know for sure. Like when you're talking about stuff 16 generations ago, I mean, you're hoping that all of that paperwork was right. But Ancestry.com fills in a lot. And then just doing other research, you find out details. Yeah, like the little stuff like King Edward, that was, I mean, I did my ancestry, and I got a few lines back into the 1400s, but there was nothing notable. But of course, when you start getting into lines that had royalty, there is a lot more records because those royal families had such extensive genealogy records. Yeah, like there was a reason to keep records. And so like it was really easy to fill out his genealogy. We hit this one line that was clearly like noble. And then from there, it just got really easy to find a lot of information.
Like another interesting thing we also found is that on my dad's side is that consistently people were living into their 90s, like many generations.
Oh yeah, like his family for several generations had,
especially on the Soward side.
Yeah, on his dad's side.
Because my Nana, which is my dad's mom, she's in her mid 80s now.
Yeah,
and like, I'm sorry, no, you wouldn't fight her.
Like she comes over here, and I'm literally like, Nana, stop! Like she is so like active. She'll be lifting stuff, moving stuff. She'll get in the garden and just get to work. But she grew up on a farm in Newfoundland, and like she's still got it in her. And literally, you're like, Nana, like I don't want you to hurt yourself. She's like, you got an accent. She's so feisty. I love Nana. She's awesome. That's a good thing to have, long life in your lineage. Hold on. Is there something that I can plant in winter, or what should I do? What do you guys do around winter at your homestead? I actually have a video out, Allie, about fall gardening and about growing roots and stuff. If you said you're in North Little Rock, like you can plant a lot of that stuff now. Now you want to plant it now. You don't want to wait until the frost to plant it because the days are getting shorter and it needs some time to get established. But now's the time. You can plant like all, roots, turnips, beets, radishes.
We did give up carbs. And how is the garm going? What is the garm? Dawn Jessen?
The garm?
I think that's probably a misspell.
Wow, that's cool, Sherry Nations. History is fantastic. I love reading about stuff. I have this theory that one of the ploys of the enemy to keep us.
Farm's going good.
One of the ploys of the enemy to keep us ineffective from creating change is to make us believe that we're a lot smaller and less important than we are. And it's easy in a world with as many people as our world and as much information to feel really insignificant, but we're actually not at all insignificant. And when I start reading about history like that, and I start reading the records of people having babies over the course of hundreds of years, and it's not insignificant. And we actually are really, we really matter as individuals. I think we really can affect a lot of change if we realize that. And so I don't know, I'm really digging the ancestry thing.
Rose, I don't think we found a lot of native in our ancestry.
Well, no,
not on my side at least.
No, the reason why that is though is typically on ancestry.com, you don't find a lot of that stuff. A lot of times what happens is it just says unknown. I know for a fact that my great grandmother was fully Cherokee Indian. I know 100% sure that she was native Cherokee. And it literally just has her name and then says unknown mother, unknown father. And there's just very little information about her. And so she's kind of the end of the line as far as the documentation, because there wasn't any documentation of the native tribes. And so unfortunately, I think that that doesn't get represented as well, just because it, whenever you've got English heritage, you've literally got this documentation for generations and generations. Also, I found, and I don't know, I could probably get a different account, and I'm sure there are like Scottish records, but I've found a lot of dead ends. Like once I've tracked my ancestry back to Scotland, there have been a lot of dead ends, and I wonder if there was maybe something with some of the documentation. But hey, Jason and Robin. Scroll up.
Chris, keep going.
Oh, thank you, Chris. And because you're maybe a king. What's crazy though is like you go back like 10 generations and now that person has like 160,000 like offspring or something like that. It tells you how many people like descend from it. It's really neat.
Linda, I put just regular garden fabric underneath the dirt of the raised beds.
Hey, the red shed. Kayla, I love that quote. If you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping in a room with a mosquito. Nunda said mine may have been royalty, but I ain't curtsying.
What?
Somebody asked about collards, my favorite collards. I've only really ever done the Georgia Southern, and they do great, so that's just what I do. Y'all are funny. So who all is going to be at HOA? It's just a couple weeks away. I'm getting really excited about that. That's like kind of my highlight of the year as far as like getting together with the homesteading community. It is like the big one.
It's the bee's knees.
The big one. Nunda said me. We know you'll be there, silly. Nunda is the co-creator of HOA, like the co-owner. Yeah, we oh, Gail, I'm so excited. Walterman Homestead. Hi, Angela Blake. Blue Harmony Farm. Maureen Olson, where are the good place to buy garlic and onion bolts? I always buy my onions locally. And I haven't really planted that many of them, but garlic, I noticed that Luke and my gardener, he just stocked his. I've bought that locally as well, and I also got a lot of mine last year from Baker Creek, and this year I'm pretty much going to be taking the stuff I grew last year and replanting from it. Is my plan.
Oh, sorry, single dad. I meant to call you this weekend, and the roof thing kind of threw me off. So we actually don't have anyone to stay with our kids for HOA.
So we're actually going to bring them with us.
And so now we're driving.
Yep.
Sorry, Chris. I meant to call you.
Well, you could always just call him.
I will call you. But not while I'm doing the live. That would be
No,
weird.
you look so handsome.
Thank you.
Little Noah. He surprised me yesterday. I didn't know that he was coming, and he just walked in the living room. Noah is living in Knoxville, and so he's 8 hours away from here, 9 hours away. Little baby Noah.
I was just coming to say bye.
Are you about to leave?
Yeah, I'm going to leave in the morning to go back.
In the morning.
Well, Noah is Jeremiah's youngest brother because he's the third of 9 kids. And so Noah actually lived with us for
3 or 4 years.
like 3 or 4 years of his teenage years. So he's my
Your
bonus
other boy.
child. I got a bonus son because I didn't have enough of him. And he's such a good one.
Ethan from 180 Degrees from Average says bye.
To me?
Yes, he said, tell Noah I said bye.
Oh, and my mom said, hello, Noah, safe travels.
Oh, thank you.
Chris, is Elin coming to
Thank you.
HOA?
Your glasses are in the kitchen.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye, Jess. Love you.
Oh, yeah, you're right by Chris out there. We should love you. We should give Noah, Chris said give Noah his number. He's right out here by him if he needs anything. Yeah, he's
All right, I'll
Knoxville.
send you Chris's number, Noah.
Okay.
Chris is a good guy.
Tell Chris I appreciate
He's a single dad. Homestead.
That's the name of his channel. Oh, everybody say bye, Noah.
Love y'all.
Love
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Go Vols. I don't think he's a Vols fan.
Yeah, Heather, bonus kids are really awesome. Noah moved in with us when he was He moved in with us for a little while because their mom was doing like a traveling nurse job. And so he lived with us for about 6 months, I think, and then moved back in with her. And then he came back. So almost 4 years. He moved in the first time when he was 14, and then he came back when he was 15. And then he lived with us until
We will be moving stuff to Arkansas during HOA.
Oh, wow. Who's that?
Wild Homestead.
Cool.
Wild with a Y.
What is cabbage collards? I was just reading about cabbage collards the other day. It's essentially a collard that heads, I'm pretty sure, is what it is. But the thing is with like a lot of those, like, I don't know if, I'm pretty sure collards are brassicas. I may have that wrong, but I know like broccoli and kale and all of those and cabbages and different brassicas like that, like you can eat broccoli leaves. They're much like cabbage. And there are some kales like Tranchuta kale and Thousand Head kale. Their leaves are really thick. They're similar to cabbage. And so they're all related.
It's a typo, but it's funny. Anne McLean. You must be related to John McClane in your ancestry, which is awesome.
Is that the one that...
Yippee-ki-yay.
Oh.
You've never seen Die Hard. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. But where is Knoxville? I live in Knoxville. I hope you know where Knoxville is if you live in Knoxville.
Where in Knoxville?
I know, but I'm saying where is Knoxville? I live in Knoxville with my husband. I'm like, I guess he does most of the driving.
Where in Knoxville? I don't know.
I don't know exactly where he's staying. He doesn't spend a lot of time there.
He's just working
their
there.
crews, their yard is in Knoxville, but their crews are working in Kentucky.
Yeah, no, he's actually been working.
North Carolina. So, I mean, he goes to Knoxville, leaves, comes back, and if he doesn't travel back to Arkansas, he stays for the weekend. But I don't know exactly where.
Don, he does live 8 hours away, and he's coming home every weekend. So we have had a really good time.
Yeah, Morgan, you notice how I did not finish that statement because that would be inappropriate to my character.
But yeah, Noah will be back next weekend. Listen, guys, I'm not a movie buff. I can't be all face.
Let's see. Someone said, what movies. Chickens lay olive eggs? They're considered olive eggers?
There's not a breed itself.
But naturally, it's a cross between well, you go ahead. You're the chicken genetics lady.
In order to get an olive egger, you have to take a chicken that genetically lays a blue egg, like a true blue, which is like an Americana, Aricana, or like a crusted cream leg bar. I think whiting true blues are actually also. And blue egg layers, actually their shell is blue. And so like if you crack open a blue egg, the inside of the shell is blue. And then you take that and you cross it to a chicken like Marans, like cuckoo Marans. They don't have as quite, or Marans. They don't have quite as dark eggs, but like black copper Marans have really dark brown eggs, but they actually like coat their eggs. So if you crack open one of those really dark chocolate eggs, the inside is not as dark. That's a coating on the outside, and you breed those two. So you get the true blue egg that gets that dark coating, and it's like an olive egg. And then you take that chicken, because basically I'll nerd out really hard on this. I love chicken. Chicken eggs were my first love, and then I got into breeding or growing tomatoes. But it's a dominant gene. The blue egg gene is a dominant gene. And so a chicken who is a full blood, like let's say crusted cream leg bar, has two genes that are the color gene. And so if you cross that with anything, you're going to get a colored egg. That's when you get an Easter egger. But then they have the one gene that's colored and then one that's regular. And so then if you cross that with something else, you have a 25% chance. And so if you take the olive egger that you breed, the first generation olive egger, and you breed it back to a cuckoo Maran, or a Maran's, a dark brown egg layer, you could do well summers too, technically. Like you breed it back to them, then you have half chance of getting a brown egg and half chance of getting a darker green egg. And so you do that, and you can get down to like 8th generation where they're like super, super dark olive. So it's a process to get olive eggs.
Someone said John Mills's dream is for us to say hi to him.
Oh, hi, John Mills. I think you should dream bigger, though.
Ain't that big a
deal. Go bigger, man. Like, that's my advice to you. But hi. I'm glad you're here.
What if he left before saying that? Oh, that'd be so sad.
Heather, chicken and egg flavor is not determined by the breed, or the egg color is determined entirely by their diet. So you could get a white egg laying chicken that just lays a white egg and feed them a really nutrient dense diet, protein rich diet, and you're going to get a much more flavorful egg because it's going to be really rich in nutrients. However, dang, I just completely lost that brain train. Where was I going?
Talking about egg color, not egg color, density of the yolk.
Tasty, density. No,
So,
it's gone.
I'm talking about different kind of bugs, different kinds of diet, different kind of fermented foods. Like if they have a big variety, they'll develop a densely orange yolk, which is the most flavorful yolk.
The reason why people associate brown eggs with being better flavor or farm fresh is typically, because brown eggshells were typically kept by farmers because usually the white egg layers are lighter breeds. They're really flighty, so they're not as good for dual purpose. Whereas people on farms typically kept the chickens who laid the brown eggs because they're heavier and denser animals. And so they're more dual purpose. You can use them for meat or eggs. So like in the old days, like whenever people had farms, they were breeding for both. They wanted a hen that they could both butcher and lay eggs. But now in like recent production, people have gone more towards white egg layers because they're a lot lighter, therefore they eat less. And whenever industrial egg factories, they don't need like dual purpose. They don't need to eat them for meat. They just want the egg production on less food. And so people have now come to associate brown colored eggs with being like farm fresh and white eggs with being commercial. But really you can have white egg layers or brown egg layers or blue or whatever, and it's all going to be the same if you're feeding them good. That's what I was going to know. How's Toby doing past the hard farm lesson? It was a hard day, and he brought it up a few times, and we've talked about it a few times, but he's processing. And I think that just giving them all the information and being honest and supportive is good and helps them get through it.
Do you find rooster's meat more gamey tasting? I don't think so.
No, I've never noticed a difference. I've never tasted chicken meat that tasted gamey. Honestly, I will tell you that I prefer, if we're going to have, if we use venison, I really prefer does over bucks because I can smell it. Like I have a really, really intense sense of smell. And whenever he takes down bucks, like I can smell it when I'm cooking it. And it reminds me of rut. It reminds me of the goats. When our goats are in rut, it smells like that to me. And I don't think you can probably taste it, but when I smell it and it's cooking, it's over. I won't eat it. I'm like, don't like that. Harvest enthusiast. Well, we're glad that you're here. Yeah, Pomona, it's definitely difficult doing that with kids. I mean, your heart breaks for them, but I think I don't know. And that one was one that I struggled with because I ended up, you saw a little bit of that conversation, and I ended up turning the camera off and putting it down, and we sat there for a good long while and talked, which that wasn't on camera. And when it first started, when the conversation started, I almost turned the camera off because I don't want my kids to feel like I'm making public stuff like that. But I really felt like that was a really valuable lesson for other people who are doing the farm. Like that's a real thing. If you're going to raise kids on the farm, you're going to have that conversation. And so I actually paused before that. And I said, Toby, do you want me to turn the camera off? And he said, no, I'm okay. And then we had that conversation. Then I did turn it off and we talked for a while. So that's another thing that you got to kind of manage whenever you're doing YouTube and you're dealing with kids. I don't ever want to put their emotions out for the public if they're not okay with it. So have you pickled cucamelons? Yes, Tammy, they're really wonderful. I didn't can them. I did like refrigerator pickles. I don't know that they would have stood up to canning because they're really dainty little things, and I think they could have gotten mushy. Thank you, Nanda. But they're great refrigerator pickles. I think they would be really good for like a charcuterie board, like if you're going to do a spread, having those little things. I did some that were spicy. They were really good with like whole garlic cloves and some peppers and onions. They were really yummy. Thank you guys so much for that encouragement. Well, Tammy, let me know if you process them and they turned out good, if they didn't get mushy, let me know, because I would really love to know. The problem last year was that, like we made them and then you have to eat them really fast because you only have like they're not going to stay good that long in the fridge. So please let me know. I would love to know if they held up.
Yes, Pamela, those two, the Australorps and is it Golden Lace Wyandottes? Those are good chickens.
Mm-hmm. So, Maya, are you going hunting this year?
Yes.
Yep.
Actually, a friend of mine's parents moved to an 80-acre tract north of here, and it's got a lot of unhunted land around it. And I had to pull all my deer stands off of the land that we sold back. And so I have like 4 stands, permanent stands, and then my climber stand and a couple of corn feeders. So we're actually going to go get it set up. And I'm going to give him all that stuff, and then he's just going to let me hunt there. So it was win-win for both of us.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to put some deer meat in the freezer this year for sure.
Yeah. The original organic free-range meat, right? The horses are doing well. They just run, like I look out there sometimes and they're just running across the pasture. They're very happy. They're fat and happy. When will the roof be finished?
Do you ever go hunting with him, Jess? No, she does not.
No. Guys, I don't think y'all
I've
understand.
checked on the baby pigs religiously. They're all still alive and doing fine.
Yeah.
I've also had to kick Gerard a few times because he keeps getting out. I just need to say this. I'm not a large supporter of electric netting for pigs. It doesn't work.
I think it works better if you don't have curly pigs.
Maybe. Doesn't work for us. It's literally a nightmare. Like, I don't know. Everyone's like, oh, no, it works great. I'm like, no, I'm going to be putting up permanent, either hog panel or permanent fences with a hot wire because I don't trust Gerard around the babies, and I'm constantly having to go back there and put him back in the electric fence.
Jason said, told you.
I know, but I mean, I knew that. I'm just, I'm very frustrated with it.
He's been like back there constantly. Like last night we got home, we went to dinner at some friend's house and I fell asleep on the way home because the drive to our house from anywhere is like almost 40 minutes. And I fell asleep and I came in, like got the kids in bed and went to bed, and he didn't come to bed for a little while. I was like, where's Jeremiah? And I got up and I looked out the back window to see if I could see him, and he's back there in the pig yard like 11:30 last night. Because he's really nervous that Gerard's gonna do something. So the
New Rabbit's doing good.
Yeah, he's good.
And honestly, like, I don't trust him, but when he does get out, he's actually not hurting the pigs. Like, he's not hurting the pigs.
Yeah, at this point, because he keeps breaking through the netting, he would have had the opportunity.
Right. So I think we'll be okay. When is the roof going to get done? That's a good question. So things went completely horrible yesterday, and we got like a 1/6 done of what we had hoped to. Today went a lot better, and I don't know if anyone's ever done tin roofing, but it's a lot of prep work before you start actually putting the panels on. We got all the prep stuff done today and started putting panels up. So I think we got 4 sheets up before having to call it, and we got all the valley stuff in. So everything that's exposed, that's at risk of leaking, we've got visqueened and sealed. And then there's some rain coming tomorrow and Tuesday possibly. And then I think actually we're just going to wait until next Saturday and Sunday. I've got a guy that works for my brother, actually. He's going to come out, and he's done a lot of roofing. And like, he very much proved that today. Like, he's just a really cool guy. Anyways, he's going to come out next Saturday and Sunday. So we should actually have the roof completely done by next Sunday at the live. And so me and Ben Turn this week are going to finish getting the pig house built and get permanent birthing chambers for the other mom that's still pregnant, and get the one that is Clem is still pregnant, right? And Fanny had babies, and then we'll get Fanny and her kids into their own space with a permanent. I'm going to use hog panels, so permanent fencing, and then I'll let Gerard out of the electric netting and let him just have the roam of the place for now. I was a lot of talking. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Do you think mules are good to get around your acres? I have 40 acres on rolling land. I can't drive it. Do you think horses are better? I mean, I don't know much about mules at all, honestly. I mean, like if you're getting them just to like, I don't know, like what would be the purpose of getting them? Horses are not cheap to keep. Like even though our horses have all that pasture, like we still feed them grain every day, and they have to have deworming. They have to have a farrier. Our horses are one of our more expensive animals.
Not anymore.
Not now that we don't have to buy hay. That cut down on it a lot.
Well,
and they don't need deworming as much now that they have that huge space.
Right. But I mean, we actually, Vet Valley Supply, if you do have horses, has a very highly recommended. We didn't find it until this time last year, but it's essentially like a $35 kit, and it gives you a rotation of the different wormers that are for the growing period of that worm in the area, if that makes sense. So like it gave us a year's supply of wormer for each horse for
That cut
$30,
back on a lot.
and then you rotate based off what's actually growing or at risk for that 2-month period. And that got them super healthy. It's super effective, but their cost went significantly down when we got them to the lease. I'd say honestly, our most expensive animals are the goats.
Yeah, that's true.
Like their feed is the most expensive. The second most expensive animal is the quail, which I think we are going to give away.
Yep. The Nature Patch was asking about the cast iron behind us and said they're not popular in Australia. Is there any benefit to using cast iron over other plants? I actually have a really extensive video about cast iron if you just search Roots and Refuge cast iron. But yeah, cast iron is like indestructible, and they say that it is good because it can add iron into your diet and all that stuff. And if you get it good and non-stick, you don't have to cook with a whole lot of oil. Because, if you get it really well seasoned, because it's non-stick without having chemicals. So it's not, non-stick coating is bad business. Like you don't want that in your home and in your food. So using that is kind of like a natural non-stick. I'm a huge cast iron fan. Like that's almost exclusively what I cook in. I do have a few stainless steels, and then I have some enameled cast iron, but like some of these pans I've had for years. Like one of them I bought when I moved into my first apartment whenever I was 18, and I still have that one. And I don't know, I love cast iron. I think it's really neat that you can get them and have them forever, and it's cheap. Like a cast iron 12-inch pan is like $25 or something like that. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah, Rebecca, I haven't done the pressure canning video because I just don't feel super confident in pressure canning. I've done a good bit of pressure canning, but it still freaks me out just a little bit. I'm going to do it. I've got a bunch of beans I need to can, and I feel like if I just jump in and I start doing it, I'm going to research to be able to give you guys the information. I just need to do it. And I need to just disclose the fact that it still does freak me out just a tiny bit, but I do pressure can. But it still does freak me out a little bit. And somebody posted a picture of their kitchen after their pressure canner blew up, and it freaked me out. Like, I mean, I've never been concerned that was going to happen to mine, but
have you used your salt? Yes.
Every
chance she could get.
Yes, I've used my
I
salt.
caught her one time at 3:00 in the morning. She was like in here in the kitchen in the corner, just shaving it.
That's not true. If Jeremiah ever says I did anything at 3:00 in the morning except for go pee, it's a lie, because I take my sleep very seriously in the night. I do not get up and eat in the middle of the night. I got better things to do, like rest. Should I do anything with my kale starts if a late heat wave comes? I don't think so. Kale does okay with some heat. It should be fine. The real concern with heat and most like things like that, like leafy things, is that it'll cause them to bolt. But a late heat wave probably won't last long enough to do that. What did you name the rabbit? His name is Newt. It is a boy, and he's really sweet and soft.
He's named after Newt Scamander.
Yeah, Jeremiah named him.
It was a pretty good name.
I live about 40 minutes from Layman's. Yes, cast iron heaven. I've actually never been to Layman's. I've only been up to Ohio one time when we went to get the alpacas, and it was such a long trip. Like we did not do any extra stopping. If you're on keto, you need a lot of salt. That's interesting. We haven't done keto. Do you process your own chickens? Yeah, we have processed chickens. We actually have never raised chickens specifically for meat. We've only ever processed extra roosters from hatching, but we're actually about to get like our first, we just got a plucker, and we're actually about to get our first round of meat chickens.
Mm-hmm. Some really interesting ones too. We'll let you know in the video, but I can tell you this. The cool thing, it's a new meat chicken that's not out yet, but it will be soon. And we're going to get to try it. And the cool thing about them is that the hens and the roosters are about the same size. So you don't have like bigger chickens. Like they're all consistent. So you get a really well-rounded bird. So I'm excited about
Murray McMurray of Little and Light. Oh, Nancy, I didn't realize you were right there by Ethan and Sarah. Maybe I did know that. That seems a little familiar now that I say it. Thank you so much, Angelica. Yep, John, I plant garlic I planted it in November last year, but I was a little late. October is whenever I typically do that. Yes, we had fun at Lucas Films. The kids enjoyed it as well. It was really neat.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was a cool opportunity.
Oh, Basilton Mini Farm. Hello, joining you from my car. Please be careful if you're driving.
That doesn't sound safe either.
I haven't grown hardy kiwis. I have not done that.
How do you get past the first time?
We bought Bantams and have 2 roosters.
I mean,
Like, what do you mean? Like
killing the chicken?
Like emotionally because of killing something, or the yuckiness of cleaning it? Like, which one is it that you're having to get past? Because I had to get past both.
I have to put animals down that come out deformed, especially chickens. Like if you're hatching your own chickens, sometimes chickens just come out, and if you let them live, you're being cruel because there's like, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to put them down.
Oh, okay.
And so I did not had a hard time doing that. But having to go through that has helped me learn how to deal with it.
To be entirely honest, raising our own meat and butchering animals has made me eat significantly less meat. That's just the real fact. Because of the emotional aspect.
We have an electric plucker, Geraldine.
It's just made me eat significantly less meat. Because you do have that emotional feeling. And for me, I think and we've talked about this a lot of times, it comes down to saying, okay, if I'm not okay with eating, with taking responsibility for the fact that something is dying for me to be sustained, then I shouldn't eat meat, rather than going and eating meat that I didn't have to actually look at and know. I think that if we make the decision to eat meat, we should, to the best of our, and I'm not saying that this isn't coming from a condemning place. I know everybody's not in a place to grow their own food. I know buying locally sourced meat is very expensive. And so it might just not be a possibility for you to do that. And I think that if you do have that conviction, taking a step in the direction is a good thing, and starting to maybe eat some more meatless meals or trying to support local farmers. Take a step in the direction of where your convictions are. You don't have to be instantly there, and you don't have to feel condemned. But for me, really coming to terms with the fact that if I am eating meat, something is living and dying for that purpose. Okay, am I okay with, because if all meat was ethically grown, people would not eat meat 3 times a day the way that they do. You just couldn't sustain it. And so I think we should eat less meat. It's better for our bodies to eat more plant-based. I'm not saying you have to stop eating entirely, but I think that there comes a healthier balance whenever we start to take responsibility for it. I'm nervous. What are these comments? This is such a hard, we get trashed all the time for being meat eaters. Sometimes it's.
Someone asked if raising your own meat tastes better.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so very significant.
Huge difference. Huge difference.
I am a little tired, Angelica. We had a really hard day working outside. I don't hide how I am. I can't really pretend. You get what you get. So if I look sleepy, it's probably because I am.
Yeah. And it really, that's my thing. For me, I don't eat tomatoes the rest of the year because homegrown tomatoes are that much better. The joking thing, store-bought tomatoes taste like disappointment. When you're used to homegrown tomatoes, store-bought tomatoes taste like if somebody who had never actually had a tomato described what a tomato should taste like. It tastes like that. It's just They just don't, it's not the same thing. And when you get used to homegrown meat, it's the same thing. Like whenever that's what you're used to eating, the store-bought stuff just pales in comparison.
Someone said, if you get rid of the quail, will you get meat rabbits, Jessica? No, we will not.
Nope.
I don't want to do meat rabbits. Mondays with Maya tomorrow. I think we could probably do something. I don't have it filmed yet, so I'll have to shoot
It'll probably
it in
be
the
a
morning.
late video.
And if it's raining, well, it's up to see.
Yeah.
But essentially, the roof took priority. And let me explain why I didn't do a Mondays with Maya video about the roof. Because I have no idea what I'm talking about. So I can't talk to you about something that literally I'm like a greenhorn amateur noob. Like I know nothing about roofing. I learned a lot today, but it was not something that I could like be like, hey guys, Monday with Maya. This is a roof. And we're gonna do some work on it.
Honestly, I think this roof may be the thing. Like Jeremiah is like a do-it-yourselfer to a fault almost. Like and I'm the same way. Like we are those people that look at things and go, I could do that. Like I could totally do that and save money. And honestly, I don't think we'll ever put a roof on again. Like,
no, it's never gonna happen.
like we will hire somebody to put a roof on that knows what they're doing. Like, but you know, when you're sitting there and you're like, I could save thousands of dollars if I just do this myself. I have tools and skills and helpful people. It's just a lot.
There's some things that the force can't help you with.
Well, I can't shake my excitement for new meat chickens from McMurray. Yes, it's going to be really cool. We got to meet the co-owner, Murray McMurray, at Baker Creek. Super
He's a really
nice
cool
guy.
guy. He's a nice, cool family. And
Yeah.
He's like, surprisingly, because he's the vice president, and the co-owner, and he still does a lot of the work. Like he still loves like hatching and doing all that stuff.
Oh
So,
yeah,
very
it's a
hands-on.
family-owned
Very family-owned,
business, and
it's
they're
really
all really
cool.
very involved. It's not like a big corporation where the owners are not involved. You know, I think part for me, and I think people are just wired differently. Like some people thrive on different diets. I have always thrived on a very plant-based diet. Like, and not everybody is like that, but like truly, like I used to love goat cheese, but to me now, and I have a super, super, super sensitive, like sense of smell and taste. Like I'm one of those people that can taste something and pick up all of the like notes and the nuances. Like that's why I love coffee and different things like that. Like I can taste the difference and things like that. I cannot eat goat cheese anymore since I started keeping goats. And I can eat like goat's milk mozzarella and things that are from really fresh milk. But like, you know, that soft goat cheese that has that twang, and I'm not talking about spoiled stuff. I mean, just like what you get at the store, I cannot eat it because to me, it tastes like what a goat smells like. And so keeping animals in a lot of ways has made me eat less, you know, animal products just because it's a mental association. Like, I just don't know what it is. But
and also, like, we're not getting a janky roof put on our house. I'm actually having a professional roofer come out. I'm just not hiring an entire crew. Like, I'm bringing in labor and doing a lot of the work myself, from like cutting, toting, you know, helping get, like, we were doing runners, which is what you screw the metal roofing to. You know, maybe I'll go over and just kind of talk and show what I've learned. But I mean, I'm not an expert at it, but I can show you guys what I've learned. There's just some technical stuff that I'm like, yeah, this was beyond me. There's not that the whole process it's just.
Also, it should be noted, and
Go ahead.
Jeremiah he is medically retired. Like he is actually technically, don't like the word, but disabled. And there are limitations. And today, whenever I saw him limping across the roof because he cannot walk on an incline safely, like my heart nearly stopped. And I was like, you have no business doing this job. You don't need to be on that roof. You're going to hurt yourself. And so like, that's also at play here. So sometimes he doesn't heed the fact that he does actually have some limitations that need to be respected. So that's happening.
So it will be a very nice roof. It's just going to take longer, and it's just honestly causing me more stress.
Bye, Josh. Have a good evening.
That's really what it comes down to.
Thank you, Xavier. That I agree with.
Yes,
that.
John. I'm a medically retired Marine.
Yeah. So, and he has like you can't tell it, but he's missing like over 35% of the muscle mass in his left leg, like all the way down. Like Jeremiah's left leg is smaller than mine on his thigh. And you don't see that usually, but he walks with a limp. You don't see that usually. You don't pick up on that in video. And you don't really notice it that much in person unless you know to look for it, or you see him walk up or downhill. You really see it then. So that's, you know, oh gosh, all your Marines, they're hoorahing at you. Whatever Chris
That's the other thing
and
is,
Jason
like, honestly,
and Jeremiah
like,
get
I've
together,
heard a lot of
it's
people,
lots of Marine
like,
talk.
if you fall off of a roof, and there's some parts of our roof that are like 30, 40 feet, 30, 35 feet up. Now, other parts are only like 12 or 13 feet because we're on a slope. But if you were to fall off that, like, you know, like Ben essentially, Ben was saying, you know, his dad was in his 50s and fell, you know, pretty high, and it essentially took 10 years off of his life as far as his capability. Like, he could do a lot less, even after he was fully recovered. And so I'm not interested in falling off the roof at all, at all. And I don't have the greatest of balance because of my leg. So I did go up there today after the guys got all the runners on, because the runners essentially are 1x4 screwed into the flooring. And so that gives you some stability. And once the runners are on, I actually was able to get up there and help. But without the runners being on, nah, I called that I knew I wasn't going to be able to go up there.
Oh, his nickname is Maya because his name is Jeremiah. So Maya, M-I-A-H, is just the second half of his name. Somebody asked that. And so when we first started dating, that's what his mom called him. Like she called him Maya for like his whole life. And it was really his mom. And then like maybe a couple of his siblings would call him that. And so I called him that.
My
and
sisters.
So really like, yeah, his sisters and his mom and me called him Maya. And then we started doing YouTube. And of course, that's what I call him. And so I actually call him Sweet Maya. And so everybody else picked it up. And now everybody calls him Maya. At first, it was really weird because it was like, you know, you go out and somebody calls you like your wife's pet name and your mom's pet name for you. And it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in my underpants. But yeah. You don't have to be super homesteader.
Actually, I need to read the instructions for the procedure on Tuesday.
Yeah.
If I didn't mess it up.
Hossman. So somebody asked something. Yeah, I don't want to talk about falling off roofs. It makes me feel really nervous. Oh,
Can you do
no,
a
Sherry.
animal shelter pros and cons on one Monday with Maya? Yeah, sure.
That's a good idea. That actually, do you guys have like any suggestions for that? We should take notes.
All right, write down
I
some
have the
ideas
best ideas. Oh,
of things you want me to give my 2 cents on. Yeah, they just colored them every single time.
so cute. I love finding my boys' writings. Okay. So animal shelters, pros and cons.
Misty, at this point, Sweet Maya is never going to go away. So if you don't have if you have a problem calling me Sweet Maya, you can call me, you know, Master Jedi.
Which is what he told his phone to call him, and so now
No, I actually told my phone to call me Master Commander.
Oh, that's right.
So now Siri says, Master Commander, you have a phone call. I'm like, is it the world needing saved?
Okay, so yeah, what things do you guys want to see on Mondays with Maya? I was telling him he could do like a
Karen, that's actually, we are going to revisit the goat thing. It's not going to be this week, but there have been some developments in that. And so we'll go back to the Hay Keeper Dryer. So write down Hay Keeper Dryer. What else did I say? The Avenger's Guide to Homesteading. Oh, Morgan.
Morgan, you're going to be at HOA, right? Morgan's going to be there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Y'all can nerd out in person. Sci-Fi Monday. Tractors.
Okay. I could try.
I was telling him that he should do like a really basic, like introduction to carpentry, just like for people who don't know how to build stuff, like just some basic skills you would need for homesteading. My opinion on Die Hard, I don't know.
She'd never seen it. She hasn't.
I'll try to watch it, but I swear to you, I will
not
fall
watching
asleep.
Die Hard with you. I'm not watching Die Hard with my wife. It's not going to happen.
Why?
Like,
Project.
would you like to know how that phrase ends? Yippee-ki-yay, MF.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah,
watching
that's
that.
There you go. Not watching Die Hard, guys. Listen, the only reason I haven't seen Die Hard in like 15 years. Like, the last time I watched an actual Die Hard, not like the newer ones, like the actual Die Hards, like, was when I was like 11 with my dad.
I don't think y'all understand how like sensitive I am to everything. Like, and I swear I'm not one of those people that's like weird about stuff. I just can't do it. Like the other day we were seeing some Avengers movies in where was that? And he was talking about Avengers movies. I was like, I can't watch that. It's scary.
It's not that scary.
It is scary.
All right, tool reviews, your favorite supplies, Maya and the bees. The issue I have with bees is that I'm still learning bees, and so I don't want to give wrong information. So that may be something later down the road. Because like there are some interesting things happening with the bees. And so maybe like when I have Elvis come out to help teach me some more, I'll video it and get some more information. But
Maya and Boys Day getting them out in the woods. That's cool.
okay.
I'm
gonna be taking Jackson hunting this year.
Irrigation would be a good thing to kind of just show what we're doing.
We're doing the irrigation, the drip system, just riding their horses together in that beautiful property. That's actually doable.
That's a good idea, yeah.
How to build a raised bed.
Be good.
See, Ethan, I'll call you later, man. Actually, you were supposed to call me and you didn't. Are we even friends?
Beginner's Guide to Deer Hunting.
I just don't feel like I'm that good, but yeah, I guess.
You should get one of your friends who are really good deer hunters to
honestly,
do a
some
video
guys
with
we
you.
met yesterday, like they're like Blake and
they're like really intense.
Yeah, they really
thank
are.
you, Kathleen.
Don't have a flow hive. Plan for the irrigation.
My cousin has a flow hive.
How to trim a goat hooves. I could do that. I actually just recently trimmed. The goats do need trimming.
And the alpacas.
Honestly, we could just go over regular goat maintenance, like copper boluses, worming, trimming hooves. Checking for
goat maintenance. That's what we call it, goat maintenance. Which is funny to me. It's like car maintenance, but they're goats. Someone said that's why it's a beginner's guide. You don't have to be an expert to give a beginner's guide. But yeah, we don't want to lead anybody astray with bad information. What Maya likes to plant and eat from the garden. He mostly just tells me he likes greens and salads.
I mean, like I've gotten a lot of deer in the last. I've only been hunting. That's the other thing is, you guys. I told you I've only been homesteading and like doing all this homesteading stuff for 5 years. I've only been deer hunting for 4, and I have bagged a lot of deer, but it's not that hard when you use the right equipment.
So it looks like you could probably do a very basic video teaching.
Yeah, I guess I could.
Somebody asked about alpacas. Blue Harmony Farm. Not at first. We would like to learn how to shear them, but we don't feel comfortable trying to do that ourselves. We're going to hire somebody.
We don't do homemade chicken feed yet, so I can't do that. Care maintenance for chickens.
Oh, and Chris. Maybe y'all can do one together.
I really thought about, because my hair and I'm getting, if I had a thicker beard, I would seriously do like a parody of Billy Mays, like a tribute being like, Billy Mays here, and we're going to talk about chicken maintenance. Boom! Set it and forget it.
Does Maya cook? He cooks a little bit. He has his recipes that he cooks. He can cook. But I can cook better. So we have an agreement in our relationship. Like, who does it better just does it for the most part. And then like he cooks occasionally to give me a break, but like I'm just faster at it. And like when he shoots videos, I edit them because I'm just faster at it. And so we just like honor each other's skills. I do have a very good and very old Chickens 101 video. That is true.
Karen, I have a time-lapse video and a how-to build video of the window greenhouse on our channel already.
Maya devotionals. I have another devotional I gotta shoot this week.
Jedi skills.
Yeah. He did try to talk to somebody the other day, and he was like, he was doing this, and they were like, "Are you trying to use the Force on me?"
Right. Okay, but they said I was wrong, but in the end, I was right. So this actually works.
Actually, no, John, I do the grilling. He cooks. What are your things that you cook? Roast? Chili.
French onion roast.
He makes a really good roast.
I'm actually better at spaghetti than you.
That's true.
I know how to season things for that better. Which I don't eat spaghetti anymore, so it actually doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm better at cooking scrambled eggs.
Scrambled egg? That is true. He's better at cooking scrambled eggs.
I cook the perfect scrambled eggs. Honestly, what I'm thinking about doing for tomorrow, rather than talking about the roof, I may do that next weekend because I'm going to be actually having Glenn back out here to help us with the roof again. So I'll do the roof next weekend when we're finishing it because there'll be more to talk about. I'm thinking tomorrow I may go over what I'm eating, juicing, and
that's a good idea because
the healthy choices I'm making. How much water am I drinking? And I think because
he's losing a lot of weight and he's feeling really good. I'm planning on doing a video about juicing this week too. So y'all are going to see a lot of that this week. But that's seriously been like total game changer for us. Like we feel so good.
Missy Zimmerman, let me tell you, if you want to win the chili cook-off, then you need Jessica to make the steak chili. I make like the quick chili, like, ground meat. Jessica makes steak chili, and I'm telling you, steak chili changes your life. I've said this before.
It is very good.
Yeah, we just got an Omega juicer also.
Yeah, I've used a Breville centrifuge juicer for like
bacon.
7 years. and it's good and it's lasted, but I wanted to get a cold press so we could juice like multiple days at a time because the centrifugal juicer that juice doesn't hold up. It gets really oxidized, and so the flavor breaks down really quick. And so we got a cold press juicer, and man, it's so good. It's just so
yeah,
good.
we can share the chili recipe. That's not really
yeah. Actually, it's not my recipe.
Right.
So if you Google the Yummy Life steak chili, that's like Google that. It's a blog. I don't know. I'm not like endorsing the blog's content. I don't know that person at all, but I've been using that steak. I've memorized it at this point, but like you can Google the Yummy Life steak chili is the steak chili recipe. It's really good. It's got like, it's got beer in it, and I usually use like a dark beer that has a lot of flavor, and then it's got like molasses and cocoa, and you toast all these seasonings and steak. Oh, it's so good. I always put a lot more beans in it though than what she calls for, just because I'm usually feeding a lot of people, and so I usually double the amount of beans that she calls for to make it stretch because it's really, really meaty. Otherwise, that's why I like to double that. Christian Johnson said, I make a mean piece of toast. That's hilarious. Yeah, Yummy Life steak chili, Jerry Lynn. That's what it is. Oh, Nancy was talking about her husband doing cabbage rolls. She said, you can do it.
The egg recipe is not so much like it's about the method, the type of pan I use, and
use a rubber spatula.
I use a rubber spatula, and I basically keep the eggs moving. I don't let them settle so they don't ever get like overcooked and turn brown and crusty. And I think Jessica just likes to multitask, and so she'll be like stirring and then forget, and then it'll get crusty, and then she stirs, and yeah.
Here's the situation of how I cook eggs. My mom, she's on here. My mom is like deathly allergic to eggs, like anaphylaxis, like she cannot eat eggs. So we did not grow up eating a lot of eggs at all. And when we did, my mom could not, like, she didn't make like fluffy, perfect scrambled eggs. She never really, like, she cooked scrambled eggs, but like she could never taste them. So she had no gauge whatsoever on, is this good or not? And so I have always cooked eggs like I grew up eating them. And Jeremiah, when we met, he's like, your scrambled eggs are not good. And
she's like being so sweet.
What?
Like, morning, baby. What my cookies and scrambled eggs? I'm like, no, please don't do that. Anything but that. Like, give me a bowl of cereal. Don't ever cook me scrambled eggs again.
So he makes these delicious fluffy eggs. Now, at this point, I've gotten a lot better.
You've watched what I've done, so you know how to do it.
Yeah, but I didn't know how to cook scrambled eggs well.
Jessica is really good at fried eggs. She makes the best fried eggs. Actually, sweet potato hash sounds good soon.
I thought you were about to ask me to cook that tonight, and I was like, honey.
Honey boo-boo. Listen to yourself.
Listen.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. I'm about to have to go sleep on the roof.
Oh, man. thank you, Chris. There's the steak chili recipe right there. Oh, I love deviled eggs. Jeremiah's mom made the best deviled eggs. Yesterday was a year anniversary of her passing, and I was actually just thinking about making some deviled eggs in her honor. Of course, she's been on my mind a lot this week, and yeah, she made the best deviled eggs. I can never get mine to turn out like hers, so I would always have her make them. We're missing her a lot this week. How do you screw up scrambled eggs? You cook them too long. You don't whip them enough, I think probably has a lot to do with it. You don't get enough air in, and they get those little crumbly bits, and they're kind of brown in some places. Just overcooking them where they're not fluffy.
If you put your salt and pepper in before you cook, you should never do that.
Yeah, kind of do that
Don't
after.
put too much cream. Low heat. Be patient. Don't try and cook them fast. That makes them taste bad. And then just keep them moving, and then cheese at the end.
Darlene, if you'll message me, we'll get together. We're home until HOA, and so we can get together. I'd like to have you come out. Good night, Nancy. We're about to have to. Yeah, they just get crumbly and dry. That was my eggs were just kind of crumbly and dry. But I actually didn't really like eggs that much until honestly I got chickens is whenever I actually started eating eggs. I cooked with them, but just plain eggs. And I'm still a little weird about it. Like I can eat scrambled eggs now, or I can eat eggs like with kale, but just eggs by themselves. I just didn't grow up eating them. I didn't eat eggs very much at all. Because my mom was really allergic and my mom cooked for me. And so we just didn't eat a lot of eggs. So, now I like them. What are we going to cook together at HOA, Chris?
Okay, so Meg Holler's cooking clam chowder one night. We know that.
He's going to hold her to that, absolutely.
And I think we may have dinner plans Thursday night.
Honestly, Tammy, I might.
So that's the first night we're there. So that leaves Saturday night or Friday night. One night is available. So what are we going to cook?
I don't know, Chris. Do you want to co-cook a meal? Are we going to do that? Let's talk about it.
Yours versus Chris's.
Well, we're driving now, so we can pack an ice chest and bring meat from the farm. So
well, honestly, I wish we could fit it. Honestly, when we get our luggage, if we have enough room, like Kaylee has a mangoitza available
to purchase.
We
should be able to fit that and drive it home.
I know, so I'm hoping
we'll take those coolers.
That's what I'm saying. But we have
I could bring a goose. Oh, Morgan!
But what I was saying is that I may change it from a full-size car to something bigger, so we have enough space.
We have to rent a car because our cars are old. Basically, we talked about it, and the risk of taking our vehicle and ending up broke down and having to then deal with that and rent a car at that point, we decided we need to just rent a car so we don't have to worry about it. So we're having to work out all the details. Yes, Sharon, that's why we've got the piglets. We're raising them for meat. Tamia McQueen, speaking of eggs, any idea on finding which of my chickens is the egg eater? Okay, so here's what you do. Empty out an egg, poke a hole in the bottom and drain it out like you're going to do egg art, and then fill it up with mustard. Okay. Once you've got it empty, squeeze a whole bunch of mustard in, clean it off, and go put it in there. That is one way, or you can do paint, but you don't want to hurt the chicken. But if you put mustard all in it, then you can usually catch them because they'll have mustard all over their face. But they say that's supposed to deter them for whatever reason. I've never found chickens to be deterred by the flavor of anything. So I don't know that would actually deter them.
I saw chickens eating roadkill.
Yeah. But it's more to find out which one it is. Someone says that mustard deters them, but if nothing else, you'll have a mustard covered chicken and you'll know which one's eating eggs. The drive to HOA is 16 hours. Last time it took us like 23 hours because our kids were being nuts. And there was a hurricane going on or something. And there was a ton of traffic coming up from Florida. And so we got stuck in so much traffic. It took us so long to get there last time. But this time, I don't think it's going to take that long. We are going to drive through the night. We'll leave here. But I think that we should leave here earlier this time. Right? Like last time we left at like 10 and drove through the night so our kids would fall asleep. And I think we should leave here at like 5 and drive through the evening and then through the night and then through the next morning, because I think we can get more driving done on the front end that way before they get too crazy.
Yeah, we need to talk about when we leave.
Yeah, we got to figure that out. The Hesitant Homesteaders, are you guys going to HOA? I can't remember if you are. We are planning on taking a cruise. We had a really hard time this year working out the scheduling of doing that while Malia is here, because she's only with us like 8 weeks out of the year. And obviously, well, no, 10 weeks out of the year, but 8 of them are in the summer, which is a really hard time for us to leave for an entire week. And so we were hoping to maybe fit it. I think we're going to try to fit it in spring break next year. And if not, we'll just have to do it next summer.
Still to be decided.
Morgan, how long is this drive for you to HOA? I'm really excited about that. 9 hours. Okay. That's not too bad. I got to handle about a 9-hour drive before I start getting pretty antsy to get out of the car. The only thing that kind of stinks about, we could possibly.
What?
I don't know. We'll talk about that. Trying to break it up and stay somewhere on the way.
Where would we stay?
I don't know. Last time we stopped in Knoxville and hung out in Knoxville for a little while, because I used to live there for a couple years and I wanted to take them all back. And like I showed Jackson and Asher where we lived whenever Asher was born and stuff like that. But
HOA is in Front Royal, Virginia.
Homesteaders of America. The Brower Homestead, what recommendations or advice would you give to someone wanting to pursue a YouTube channel and make money? Do you like your affiliates with Amazon links? Okay. If you want YouTube to be your job, like if that is something that's on your radar, the first thing that you have to understand is it's going to take a lot of work to get it established without it paying a lot, where you have to put in a lot of hours. Like there's definitely an establishing, because like a lot of people, it takes them a year to even get monetized because you have to get so many watch hours and subscribers. I think like anything, you need to expect to get out of it. Well, like you have to be willing to put in the work. Like it takes discipline and it takes like steadily producing content. Like you're not going to turn YouTube into your job posting 20 videos in a year. Like it's just, unless even then, even if you have a viral video, like there are sometimes you'll come across viral videos. People have millions of views and they have like 1,000 subscribers because, they just had one shot video. Like to really build up content, it takes a lot of time.
There's no shortcut.
There's just not a shortcut. Like you've just got to, and like our channel grew really fast, but even still, it took a lot of time, and it took the commitment of saying, I'm going to treat this like my job. I like getting paid is a big motivator in doing YouTube, but I think you have to have a drive other than that also. People just don't like people who aren't sincere, and people don't like people who aren't authentic. And so if you don't actually have concern for what you're trying to do and you're not actually invested in it in your heart, like I just don't think that it's going to take off. As far as like Amazon affiliate links, that stuff's really great. That's a big part of our income. Like, I mean, people shopping through our Amazon affiliate links, and most of that is people who use our links or they use our major link. Like we have a link that's in the description of all of our videos that you just click it and you can buy anything on Amazon, and basically it sends a kickback to our channel. And a lot of people do that, and it's a huge help to our channel. But even that didn't start amounting to much until we had quite a lot of people getting behind us. So here's Morgan's advice, and I think this is really good. Focus on your audience and make things that people will really want to watch. I know that sounds really basic, but so many people miss that point. That's so true. Morgan, Goldshaw Farm, is actually like really brilliant when it comes to marketing and like just understanding, like being a creator. Like Morgan has a lot of knowledge about that. Another person who has a lot of knowledge about just understanding being a creator is Meg Holler. And I think that like getting an understanding of being a creator, like, why am I doing this? Like, I think really having your why, understanding what value you want to bring to YouTube. Like, for instance, I am confident in being a pretty good teacher. I am also aware that there are a lot of things that I don't know about. I feel like it would be better for me, knowing who I am, to say the value I bring to people is encouraging them to try and teaching them what I know and honestly sharing what I don't know and saying, hey, look, I have a measure of success in the garden and with the homestead anyway. And so I understand that while some of my value is in teaching and educating, a lot of my value is in inspiring. Also, I feel like a lot of our value is in sharing our family and encouraging people to invest in their family. Like, I understand where the value is and what I'm trying to bring. And I think finding that, I think understanding the value you're bringing, like, it's not a matter of just making videos. And I don't want to discourage anybody from doing it. If nothing else, make videos of your life and put it out there and then watch them honestly. It will make you a better person. I'm not joking. Like, making videos and watching your life from a third person perspective will make you better. You know, like, people to say, I love the way you talk to your kids. Do you know that I have become so much more consistent with that since I first started doing videos and realizing this is how I want to talk to my kids. This is not how I want to talk to my kids. And we had a personal goal with ourselves. We don't want to be different when the camera's on than when the camera's off. And so our kind of agreement, and this is not to say, well, we don't screw up and have bad days and lose our cool. That absolutely happens. But our agreement was we're not going to fake it. We're not going to be fakers. And so if we're putting this out, we are going to make sure that that's who we are when the camera's off too. And so, like, if you go into it like with the desire to just, if you're just going into it just to make money, it's just a hard thing. But I mean, it's my job. If YouTube wasn't, if I didn't have it in my mind that this is my job, I probably would not be producing 6 videos a week, to be entirely honest. But at this point, I mean, it's our life. And I mean, we're in the groove of that. It's actually not that hard to do. We're also not very complicated at editing. Like, we're not producing the quality of videos that a lot of people are. We're just doing like a real raw home movie type feel. And that's our style. That's fine. But yeah, I think, I know that was really scattered. I guess my advice is be honest, be consistent. And, that's really the main things. Be honest and be consistent, and also find out who you are, and don't try to be somebody else. Find out what your flavor is, find out what your stance is, find out what your value is, and bring that, because you have value. You are a facet that is different than anybody else, and you have value. You have a viewpoint that's your unique viewpoint. You have skills and knowledge that are your skills and knowledge. You have encouragement that nobody else can offer. And so find what your flavor is and be that. So
Wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Thank you guys. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with us this evening.
I'm going to go rest for a little bit.
Yeah, I think he expired about 16 minutes ago. He's like, checking out. He's tired. All right. Thank you guys. We will see you later. We bless you guys. Till next time.